This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow man-child Johnny Karlic. And we are back for the Rick and Johnny podcast right here on mostvaluablepodcast.com, on the YouTubes, on the Blog Talk Radio, the iTunes, the Stitcher, wherever you may be digesting us. We are here for you on Most Valuable Podcast. Want to thank you guys for checking in, and we got a jam-packed show, Johnny. Going to be talking about MCU. What kind of villains we could see. Going to be looking at Ready Player One. We got another trailer for that. And then we're going to look at the Venom movie, and more specifically that villain that we could see with Carnage in the Venom movie. But before we get started, you guys know the drill. If you have been here before, got some housekeeping for you guys. Number one, if you like what we're doing, you want to see us improve the quality, we are doing some new things because of it. Check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Just your way to help support the channel. $1. Of course, you get everything for free. $1, you get an exclusive Patreon podcast. $2, you get that video. And then for $10, you can be on the podcast with us. We get to be talking about whatever nerdy topic you want to talk about. Also, go ahead and check out the description down below. You want an MVP t-shirt, it'll tell you exactly how to get that. We're selling MVP t-shirts. I don't have mine on today, but still got to do the across the chest because it would be right here on your beautiful black shirt. You can check that out in the description. And then last but not least, if you're on iTunes, you have an iTunes account, go to iTunes, type in Rick and Johnny Podcast, the Onside Kick, the Primetime Podcast, and the Fast Break. Give us that beautiful 5-star rating. It would really mean a lot to us, and it would mean the world to us, and we would be very appreciative if you can go and give us that succulent 5-star rating on iTunes. So, Johnny, housekeeping is done. I try to get through that quicker and quicker each week.
Yeah.
Just try to roll right through it. Because
one of these days, like a year from now, you'll be doing it automated. You'll be so fast that you'll be saying it like an auctioneer.
It'll just be automated at that point. I want them to understand.
Well, no, and then they can take their time, slow it down.
Okay.
And you can
so putting a little bit of work on to our viewers and listeners.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Because I know you can slow it down on YouTube.
You could with the playback speed.
Yes, exactly.
But what we are going to dive into first, we're going to dive into some MCU things.
Yeah, we
and
are.
The reason why we came up with this topic was I asked you, I'm like, okay, we talked before, like, oh, Disney and Fox are in talks. Then we're like, oh, they stalled. Then we had, oh, could Sony get in on it? Then we thought, oh, you know what? How do the X-Men fit in? Because the deal's supposed to be finalized this week. Well, it was. The deal's finalized. Disney bought Fox. We're now, instead of saying, how does this affect everything? Because it affects more than just Marvel. But let's be honest, everyone's focusing on the Marvel side of it. I want to have this discussion today. And I'm going to throw it to you for which villain you want to start off with. One of the biggest problems that people have said that the Marvel movies have is their villains. I think back to Civil War. I mean, Zemo didn't have that
wasn't Zemo.
He wasn't the exact Zemo. Didn't have that kind of oomph to it.
No.
Like, people have complained about Ultron, about Loki, about all these different villains that we've seen in the MCU. Here's what I want to ask you. Now that we're getting a ton of characters from Fox, X-Men, Fantastic Four, which villains should come to the MCU?
Now I'm debating if I should go heavy hitter first or if I should start low.
Hit it right. Hit the home run. Lead off home run. Hit me with the big guy.
You know what? Honestly, the biggest one that's going to be awesome because I'm just going to set it up. Phase 4, they're talking about we're moving more into space. We're moving more into the Marvel universe as opposed to just on Earth. And we're going to be out a villain because we're going to have used Thanos. Obviously, we're not going to like lose otherwise.
But you can't double dip.
No, you can't double dip. So, hey,
can't double dip the chip, George.
Guess who we have now? Galactus. World Eater.
Like, and that's the thing. I wanted to start off with him. Yeah. But I was in the same boat as you. I'm like, I'm going to let Johnny choose there because to me, that is like, oh, like when I first put the two puzzle pieces together in my brain, I was like, oh man, they're talking about going more like
into
galaxy into space. Galactus could be the next big bad. We're just going to set up another decade of films and lead towards Galactus just like they did
exactly
right now with it. I want to throw out a different one, and this is where the debate comes in with Galactus. I don't know if we want to have this yet, but I'm going to throw it out anyways.
Okay.
If by them going more towards space,
Yeah.
would you rather see them go with a Galactus, to where with Galactus you can bring in not just the Avengers for Galactus, but that's more of an X-Men thing too. Because like you can have it to where Galactus can go up against, could be in like referenced in X-Men movies, but could also be referenced in like Avenger movies, and obviously the Avengers would be the ones to combat him. Or because now they're going into space, could we see more of one, and this is one that intrigued you in our pre-podcast talk, of Kang the Conqueror?
Well, I'm going to correct you a little bit on Kang.
Okay, go
Kang
ahead.
would have to be back on Earth, because he's more of an on-Earth thing, because he's not about space, he's time.
Okay.
He's from the future. And I forgot his reasoning come back to the past, but he comes back to the past, I think, to conquer it as well. He's trying to conquer all of time. He's conquering Earth in all of time. So this would be...
Galactus would make more sense.
Since we're moving into space, Galactus would make more sense. But no, I would love to see Kang too, because he's basically future tech versus, and it gives kind of Tony a, oh shit, I'm out of my element now because I can't combat this.
Here's the thing though, and this is what I think of. I'm going to ask you one question about Galactus in a second, but I want to touch on one thing you said. And you said, well, it puts Tony out of his element. Is Tony, and it all depends on what happens in the Avengers. Yeah. Is Tony Stark still going to be here after Avengers 4?
Well, that's the problem too. Contracts are coming up at the end of it.
Chris Evans has already said that he's done after
Robert
Avengers. Downey
has, I think you and I have talked about it before. Robert Downey kind of has too, saying, you know what, I kind of want to end on a high note. I don't want to like I don't want to overstay my welcome. That's what his phrasing was. So I would get it if he was done after this. And then you can't really touch it. And maybe that would be a great introduction to bring in Kang, is like, hey, your only technological person is no longer here. This is my open slot to come and take over.
Which,
just saying, that's a good opening.
I'm not saying they're going to do this, because we've already preferenced that they are talking about phase 4?
Phase 4 would be
is going to be more space. And the thing that I wonder is, no matter who they use, it could be Kang, it could be Galactus. Let's just go with Galactus, because he's the kind of most galaxied guy out there. What does this mean? What would that mean then for Adam Warlock? Could Adam Warlock be, because I know that he's one of those in the Infinity Gauntlet, comes to save the day. And this could all change in Avengers, but since you brought up Galactus, do we save him for a Galactus fight to where he's the trump card when it comes to Galactus?
No, because I say no, because I see he's supposed to be the trump card for Thanos, and I think maybe he's going to have something to tie in with
this phase that we're still in.
Phase 4, or they just, or if nothing else, that was just a nod to, hey, Adam Warlock is part of the Marvel Universe. Yeah. She made an Adam Warlock. Maybe that's even just that. But other villains, like we talked Galactus, which means Silver Surfer has to be tied in somehow. Which, do you know who else that ties in with Galactus, right?
Who?
Fantastic Four.
I know. Fantastic. Are you getting at where I'm starting to get at? Or are you going to bring up the guy I was going to bring up?
Who?
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom.
Is that who you were thinking of?
I wasn't going to bring him up just at that moment, but since you did.
Because here's my thing, and this is why, if you asked me today which villain I would rather see, I would pass on Galactus.
Would you?
I would pass on Galactus, and I would move towards more of a Dr. Doom. Because one of the things I've been seeing either in podcasts or articles that I've read about like the MCU and really about superhero movies in general. Yeah. Think about the last one that we saw. Not Marvel, but DC. And I'm going to bring this in for this discussion. What was one of the big... There was a lot of controversy around Steppenwolf. But one of the big things that I kept hearing people say was that it was a villain that, because it was completely, part of people were like, oh, it was completely CGI. But let's get to the point of why it needed to be completely CGI. Steppenwolf was a character to where humanoid,
Yeah.
but he's not a human. You have to CGI his look. And there are people out there that are like, once you CGI something, I'm going to take Thanos, for example, because he's going to be CGI'd as well. Once you put that barrier between me and that person, the connection is broken a little bit. Yeah, you can bring it back and say, okay, I relate to this character, but because of the CGI, it breaks a little bit and it goes, okay, this is no longer a human character. Now, having Brolin there and Brolin's acting might bridge that, and that's why I said you can bring that back. I would go to a Doctor Doom because that would fix that problem of you have a guy who's a humanoid who people can relate to. You can have a Fantastic Four movie correctly done by Kevin Feige and the whole Marvel team. No more Fan Four sticks. And you can start there by introducing Doctor Doom and kind of let him play as the puppeteer behind the background. And because he's an actual human character, it can link me as an audience member to Doctor Doom and have a more strengthful, more powerful connection than a Steppenwolf, than a Thanos.
Here's what I would do with that.
Okay.
I would let's just take the basic overarching idea of the MCU right now.
Okay.
Who were we always leading to? We were leading to Thanos. Right? Okay.
Yeah. Ever since the end of Avengers where he turned and he had that smile?
Yes, but we've had one villain that's been a constant as well.
Loki.
Yes. I would say put Doctor Doom in the Loki slot and put Galactus in the Thanos slot, and kind of like everything's going to lead to Thanos eventually. But Doctor Doom would be a thorn in everyone's backside the whole time. Constant references to him. Maybe have him in more than one movie, but he would be the thorn. He'd be the big villain, like the sort of semi-big villain. But everything's going to eventually lead to Galactus, just because Galactus doesn't pull any strings. But Galactus is coming for Earth. There's plenty of life there. There's plenty of stuff. He's not coming. Because as they describe him, he's not Thanos. He's not coming there just to destroy shit. He's not coming there because he's a prick. Yes, Thanos is a prick, and I'm going to say it. He's there because he's hungry. And he's coming there because he's more considered a force of nature. He's not there to purposely come in, I have to eat your world. I'm going to eat your world because I find it fun. No, he's going to eat your world because he's hungry and he needs to feed. So it's either you guys or him, and he's going to choose him. So I'd say that's the overarching, like, it's slowly coming. And we don't even have to introduce it within the first few movies. Eventually, like, something introduces it that was supposed to be off.
This is another podcast where Johnny forgets to turn off his phone.
I swear I turned it off. What the hell?
Here's the thing I want to jump on that, though. And your phone actually presents me with a good point to jump in.
Yeah.
Number one, and you can correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Isn't there somewhere in the comics where Doctor Doom defeats Galactus?
That's possible. I don't remember.
I mean, I'm looking right here. I'm looking it up. It says Doctor Doom's with Odin's powers versus Galactus.
See, there's one little wrench in that, but
Odin's dead.
Yes.
Spoilers for Thor Ragnarok. Sorry, but the thing that I think that your whole plan creates, is that doesn't. And here's also another kind of. This is a topic for another day, but I'm going to bring it up just to bring it up. Is first off, it doesn't fix the problem that I presented with the some people. I'm not saying all people, but there are some people, once you have a villain like Galactus, because he's kind of a manifest. It's not like, I am a humanoid, I am going to fight you physical to physical, no CGI required. You know what I mean? To where that would be Doctor Doom. Some people will disconnect, and I don't know if that will completely fix that problem. However, it goes into the other category where, for example, we're going to get this on our Star Wars review, probably. Check that out also if you have not. There's my little promote for that. But there are people when it comes to films where it's like, do you want a movie studio to be like Marvel, where people say, hey, it's cookie cutter. The Marvel films are cookie cutter, to where it's going to have the same style. It's going to have a similar villain. It's a great movie. Great movie, same style. There's none of them that really go out. Like, Marvel's not a thing. They're not going to go out there and take risks. It's not like, man, Thor Ragnarok was so different. man, look at all this risks it takes. Yeah, it went more on the comedy side.
Yeah.
But it's not going to stand out on a ledge and be like, oh, I'm all out here. It's going to try to stay a little bit close to home and maybe go out a little bit.
They're inching their way out to something new. So they're testing waters. They're not just jumping in.
But the point is that cookie cutter. Or do you want something where, for like Star Wars, people have said, oh, they tried something new and love it or hate it kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's mixed on...
And that's a topic for another time.
Yeah.
But do you do that to where it's like, you know what, we are going to do something different? Or do we stay cookie cutter, which, like you said, okay, we did the Thanos Loki thing, take the characters out, plop, and there it is. But it fits.
I'm just saying it's an option.
Yeah, but it fits into that discussion then.
It does.
Should they do something different, bring in a villain like a Doctor Doom, which would be he's the main villain, we're going with a humanoid villain, or wipe the slate clean, here's the cookie, big villain, alternate villain, and then just put 2 in and go with that.
I'm going to say one thing to what you were talking about connect and disconnect. Okay. You're not necessarily supposed to connect with Galactus. You don't connect with a thunderstorm. You don't connect with a tornado. Like I said, he's a force of nature. You're not supposed to connect with him. He's just something that's supposed to be overlooming. He's supposed to be frightening as hell. He's that thunderstorm that literally turns the sky black and makes your, well, I've actually had a dog do this. Our tree snapped in half a few years, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally made her shit herself. Like she was in the back room and the tree cracked in half. Oh,
that had to be a good cleanup for Johnny.
No, it wasn't my job.
Oh, okay.
It was my sister's job because it was her dog.
Okay.
It was hilarious though because like it literally scared the crap out of her. Literally. That's what he's supposed to be. We don't need to have a connect with him at all. We just need to be scared the shit.
I'm going to jump in really quick because the only connection, and this goes for a villain in general. The only connection I want with a villain is a villain has to invoke an emotion in me.
Yes.
Like, for example, I think of Heath Ledger's Joker to where it wasn't a like fearful emotion, but it was like I was creeped the fuck out.
Yeah.
Where it's like that creepy, like, this guy is just like, you feel for the other character, the heroines or the heroes because of that character. Where Joker, like I said, it was more of a creepy vibe to it. As a kid, Darth Vader, being deathly afraid of Darth Vader because of what he could do.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing it has to invoke.
Like, I want to connect with Doctor Doom because he is human-esque. He's not a force of nature. He's someone that, like, as I've read before, to write a fantastic villain, you have to make them, you have to write it as if they think they're the hero.
You know who is possibly, and I can't believe I overlooked this.
Who?
You know who's probably the best villain we've seen in a Marvel film in this whole MCU? Spider-Man Homecoming. Vulture.
Yeah, Vulture.
He was
being a hero.
Keaton was probably the best one because not only that, when I just think back to him in the car with Peter, I was like, holy shit. Or like when he's like chopping up the food at home and it's like, oh, you guys going, and he holds up the knife. It's like, oh my, like you actually feel that. But
what's funny about that part is, and spoilers on Spider-Man Homecoming.
It's been enough time on
I
that.
know. I'm just saying.
Thor's a little bit closer.
Yeah. I'm just saying though. Is that he didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man at that moment.
Until he figured it out.
He was just being like
car.
kind of protective dad.
Yeah.
Which was funny because it's like, well, he's also your nemesis.
But here's the thing with me especially, and I didn't mean to do this, but notice the villains that I just brought up. The Vulture, Heath Ledger's Joker, Darth Vader. All of them are what?
Human?
Human-like characters.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that'd be interesting. That's why I would go more of a Doctor Doom because, dude, you can do so much with... You can put Doctor Doom and have him span between Avengers movies, Fantastic Four, X-Men movies, and have a reason for him to be in any of those movies.
Well, the thing I would do with Galactus, though, he'd be more like these Infinity Wars movies coming up.
Yeah.
You're going to have the whole group. You're going to have parts of the X-Men, the Avengers. You're going to have the Fantastic Four, especially because he does tie in with them. Yeah. You're going to have, that's going to be one of those type of films. That's what I'm saying. Doctor Doom would be sort of like the Loki. He'd be where you're hitting multiple times. You get to connect with him. You get to actually, and it doesn't have to be exactly like Loki. It needs to be Doctor Doom's version of Loki, where he's in there quite a few times. You're making some connections with him. And then Galactus is the final showdown. Galactus is a final showdown character. He's the boss level. You're going to need everyone on their A game to take him on. That's what that is.
I want to throw this out as well. Could they also do, and I think I brought this up last week when we talked about how to fit the X-Men in.
Yeah.
Do they maybe do, because the whole thing I'm thinking about is with, let's say they go for Galactus.
Okay.
And they're going to go more outer spacey.
Yeah.
But now they have the X-Men. And with apparently Dark Phoenix saga is still going to happen. Like Dark Phoenix, the movie. How does that fit in with everything that's going on in the MCU? Or do they, hey, it just happens, and then we try to figure it out after that?
They may try and make a little bit more tie-in now, because my guess is Dark Phoenix, and this is just me speculating, when it was Fox's thing, they were probably just going to have it all happen on Earth, because we've never had them touch space at all.
But now it should happen in outer space.
It should, because I think they might actually pull it towards that now, unless they've gone too far into the film, because Marvel's going into space, and you can tie those in together. And I mean, look at it. You and me already have an idea that Phoenix Saga is supposed to at least tie in with space, because what happened? What correlation do we have with that? The old '90s cartoon.
Yeah,
and that's where a lot of that stuff took place.
You don't mean the first trilogy? Gene, Scott, Gene. They also did that.
I'll walk out that door right now.
You don't want to go back to the what was it? X-Men 3? Was that the one that tried to
Last
do
Stand?
Was that the one that tried to do
the Phoenix Saga?
That's what I said. Tried to do, where we got Jean Grey, which is black eyes and like dark red hair.
I mean, that was cool in some aspects, but
I think I remember Wolverine. Hey, Jean, what's going on? Why you look so different? It's like, oh, what are you doing with my Dark Phoenix Saga?
Like, she was all about, oh no, I am with Scott, and then all of a sudden, Dark Phoenix takes over and. Okay, Phoenix was with Wolverine, and Jean was with Scott.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, kind of to end it up, because we are getting to the end of this segment. I want to ask you this.
Yes.
Any other villains we haven't talked about? So take Doctor Doom, take King, and take
we hit the
Galactus
two of them pretty hard.
Any other villains that you would like to see in the MCU, either as a big guy or as a kind of small one-off? I'd like to see the Silver Surfer.
I like to see he's like kind of half and half.
He would be in a Fantastic Four movie, not necessarily someone else's movie.
You brought it up earlier, and well, here's one that you didn't bring up earlier, but I would like to see, even though I think Marvel already had the rights to it, MODOK. We have AIM now. I would like to see MODOK.
Yeah.
Do something with MODOK. The other one, and I don't think we'd get it because I'm not even sure how you tie him in at this moment.
Okay.
It would be Mojo.
How would you, though?
I don't know, but I think it'd be hilarious.
Because, like, for a second, when you brought him up pre-podcast show, I was like, I don't even remember who Mojo is. And you had to show me the clip from the animated series. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and that would be the
How
thing.
do you fit someone like that? Like,
I don't know.
That would be something, like, he would only work if you had to me, he would only work if you had a movie like Thor Ragnarok.
And that's exactly what I was going to say.
Like, it's already a comical movie, and he's just going to be a comical villain.
Yeah.
A comical, over-the-top villain.
That's what I would say. It'd have to be just like Thor Ragnarok, where even like you did another Thor type movie or like a Thor Guardians crossover, and he takes them all and throws them into like an arena-ish type thing and says, "You're on this reality show now."
It's a reality television show.
Exactly. You're on my reality television show because he's making up stuff,
and they have to fight their way out of it.
Yeah, kind of. That wouldn't be bad.
I mean, I like the premise. I just don't know if Marvel would actually do that.
Please.
You don't have to worry about them stealing your idea.
No, I'm asking them to steal my idea. Please do that.
You're asking them to take it.
I'm asking them to take it.
Any final thoughts? Any last bit of villains that you would like to see in the MCU? Here's one that doesn't have to do with the Disney Fox deal at all, but I would love for them to bring him back in some way. Bring Red Skull back.
Yes.
I want to see him in future film, like because he's not. I don't think he's dead.
No.
I don't think Red Skull is dead. I just think he got shifted to a mind blown. So he had the Tesseract, right?
Yeah.
Tesseract is what reality bounces you around.
No, it's Space Stone. But yeah, go ahead.
He got sent to a different. I'm basically Patton Oswalt filibustering here. He gets sent to another time, like another point in time, and then we use the Kang the Conqueror as the main villain. He shifts with time. He's traveling through time and stuff. Red Skull's back. He brings him from the timeline that he got shifted to back into the main timeline that we're at right now. Red Skull's just been doing his own thing in the future.
What if we get something with Red Skull and Infinity Wars?
Maybe. Do you think we could?
I don't know if we would, because it doesn't seem like we would mess with the Black Order like that. Unless, that's the other thing is...
one of them pulls off their cape and it's just Red Skull.
Oh my God. Like there's a cowl on, kind of like
get this man a shield.
A Baron Zemo.
And like he's fighting with Cap, and then all of a sudden just pulls back and it's Red Skull. And Cap and Red Skull are face to face again.
Or
wouldn't happen. Don't expect it to happen.
Baron Zemo style hood. He's going face to face with Captain. Like they had that little standoff thing. Like they're staring each other down. Well, hello, Captain. Nice to see you again. And Cap just like
is frozen because he thought he was dead. Thought he was dead.
Face goes white and like he saw a ghost.
Yep. This is where I bring it on to you guys though.
Yes.
Because we're just gonna do this all day if you let us. Let us know what you guys think down below. What villains would you like to see? And I want to pose it to even further, a deep dive question.
Yes.
You got to pick one. Doctor Doom, Galactus, who you going with? There it is. Tell us which ones you'd want to see, but also answer the question. You got to pick one, Galactus or Doctor Doom. Who would you go with as the big baddie for Phase 4? Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.